went through and asked you guys what it is you wanted to see for 2025. And one of those things was to keep up with the health and wellness and how it correlates with how I want to be an athlete outdoors and be the best hunter, hiker, whatever I can be, and also just showing up for myself and my family. And with that was also, please give us more recipes. And I figured the perfect way to do this and kind of bridge into that would be high protein meals, because you have heard so many times on the podcast, especially recently, probably this last year, I would say, is really when I upped my protein intake. And you guys are too hearing and seeing that that is a major thing. And you're just kind of at a loss. Like, how do I get that protein in and how do I make it also taste delicious? That is what I'm here to give you, is high protein meals. I'm going to do 5 of them, 2 breakfast, 2 lunch/dinner. I feel like those are interchangeable. And then also a high protein dessert that Cody and I have been loving. These recipes are, if you're new here, when I cook, I like to do like a dash of this, a splash of that, to what my heart desires, what my family likes. So I kind of just give an outline, if you will, but I will list the best, like kind of a base recipe in the description below. And these recipes also, for the most part, are within the animal-based diet trend. And then also some of these are carnivore approved and friendly, if that is the diet in which you are going for. I would say, I mean, you can figure it out as we go, what's going to work for you, take it or leave it, and let's get to it. For me personally, I like having a base recipe and then being able to build from there and adapt it, like I said, to yourself, your family, whatever that looks like. And so this is going to be that, a base recipe. Let's start with breakfast. I love breakfast. I know some people aren't breakfast people. I don't understand you. I think breakfast can be served any time of the day. Breakfast for dinner is like sometimes just a flex and a whole vibe and a mood. You know, you gotta love breakfast for dinner. But anyways, breakfast. I have a sweet and I have a savory recipe for you. The first one that I have been going to, and this has been my go-to, I think for the last 6 months, you've seen this on my Instagram, and that is my scrambled protein pancakes, which basically is just pancakes that you break into pieces, but I just scramble it as I go like you would your eggs. This is an easy recipe. This one, again, I say on the ish move because I know not everyone doing animal based likes using protein powder, but this is a fantastic way to get your protein in and also kind of curb that sweet treat. I have done this with both vanilla protein powder and then different forms of like chocolate protein powder. So I do think this is a great way to, like I said, curb that sweet craving and then also be getting protein in. So the first thing you'll do is I like making this to where I then top it with berries. You could do it with whatever jam you want, eat it plain, but it is just delicious with just berries. I use the Mountain Ops Magnum protein powder, and I do this either, like I said, with vanilla, or they have a chocolate that I've done. They have a chocolate caramel, I believe, which kind of is like a cold brew flavor in my opinion. So I do any of those flavors. Again, do whatever your heart desires. I really, really love it with the caramel, the chocolate caramel for when I need that chocolate. And then I also love the vanilla because it's just like, you know, it gives you a true pancake flavor. So 1 scoop protein powder, a half a teaspoon of baking powder. You can kind of eyeball this, shimmy it in there as you please, but I found about a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and then 1 to 3 eggs. This is obviously your binder, and then again, you can decide how fluffy you want them with the eggs and also how much fat and or protein you want in there. But I have found it works well with 1 to 3 eggs for 1 scoop. And then you'll do a little drizzle of vanilla. And then I personally will mix it and see what the consistency looks like, because this depends on how many eggs you put in it. See how thick it is. And from there, you can slowly add in a tablespoon of water or milk to then get your mixture to a pancake like batter. While I'm doing this, I am letting my skillet heat up on the stove over medium heat and having that well greased oiled butter, whatever you like to use. I'm usually using grease or butter. Then from there, you put it in the pan, pour that batter, all of it, into the pan like you would a pancake. And I let it start to get to where the bottom is starting to cook. So, like you would see with a pancake, you'll see the bubbles up top, and then you'll start scrambling it as you see that and just breaking it up. And I like doing this because I like having bite-sized pieces already, and I feel like does anyone feel like you choke on pancakes, or is that just me? I like scrambling it. You could leave it as a pancake if you want, but I like scrambling it. It gets all the edges like nice and crispy. It's almost like burnt ends, but pancake form. Get it nice and crispy. While I'm doing that, I take my serving of berries that I'm going to do, and I'm using frozen berries. So I'm then warming up while my pancake is cooking, I'm warming up my berries on the side. And so then everything's done at the same time. I put my scrambled pancake into a bowl and top it with those frozen berries. And I like using frozen berries because one, they stay on hand well, and two, as you're warming them up, they kind of get like a nice juicy consistency going. So then you have like a sauce slash syrup that you can top your pancakes with. And that is my go to sweet breakfast that is high in protein. And this just marks all the macro boxes for you. It's filling, it's delicious. It genuinely is one of those things where like you feel good eating it. And that's my go to. It's easy. It's done within like maybe 10 minutes. I told you I would be giving you a recipe for a savory meal, and this is a scramble skillet, a true scramble skillet with eggs. This is one of those crowd pleasing breakfast, and my kids love it. My husband loves it. We've had guests stay over that love it. And I love that it's a one pan meal. It can't get better than that. It's super duper easy. It's high in fat, high in protein. This is perfect for a carnivore based diet. What you're going to do is take your sausage of choice. This can either be, we've done this with homemade sausage, with our wild game, or your favorite pork sausage. We like getting something with some heat around this house. So spicy. We usually do, I would say, we usually do a pound of sausage and I would say 8 to 10 eggs to feed our family of 4. We eat a lot. I've got growing teenage boys, a whole thing. So 1 pound of sausage, 8 to 10 eggs. As you're browning your sausage, you will scramble your eggs on the side and add in your salt and pepper. And then once your sausage is brown, you can either, like I said, depending on the fat content, you can either remove your sausage onto a plate if you're needing it to have more fat in the bottom of the pan so that the eggs are not going to stick. You can add butter at the bottom of the pan. I leave like the little brown fixings of the leftover remaining sausage. Or if you have enough fat content left, you are welcome to leave your sausage in the pan as is and pour in your eggs. I've done it both ways. I've even done it to where I don't even want to dirty a plate. And so I will then just add in butter to the sausage, toss that around to where I can see I have a good coating and where my eggs aren't going to stick. And then from there, I pour in my whisked eggs into the skillet. Here you will cook it like you would scrambled eggs. So I'm continually tossing the eggs, getting everything thoroughly cooked. This helps mix in the sausage so everything is combined evenly and you get a delicious taste of everything in every bite. And as it starts to cook from here, you can add in your favorite cheese of choice. This could be your aged cheddar, your sharp cheddar. We've done pepper jack before. I mean, the sky's the limit, whatever you want. I sprinkle on that cheese on the top of it, and then I cover the pan with a lid just to let that cheese melt over the top. You could also, if you're wanting it extra cheesy, wherever again you are in your macros, you could fold in some cheese into the mixture and then top again with cheese and then put the lid on and let that cheese melt. And from there, I just let everyone come in and serve yourself up a plate or a bowl, top with your favorite kind of toppings like Cholula. You can add some green onion on top, whatever it is you're after. Avocado we've done before. And this is a quick, easy one skillet meal that again is crowd approved and perfect for a easy, lazy Sunday morning breakfast. It also is great for meal prep. It warms up really good. It's a great way to make a lot of eggs at once and then portion it out, heat it up later. After spending months on the mountain, hunting, soaking up all that natural sunlight, the days are now getting shorter and colder. I don't even have to tell you this. I personally have experienced that this time of year affects my vitamin D levels to be low, which impacts things like my mood and energy levels, just to name two things. I'm preparing to keep my vitamin D levels where they should be with the help of Mountain Op's vitamin D3 plus K2 gummies. These are delicious strawberry gummies that are a convenient way to help you get more vitamin D intake every day. Adding this to my daily routine has helped me conquer my days, whether I'm on the mountain, in the gym, working, or being a spouse and parent. You can get your Mountain Ops vitamin D3 plus K2 gummies at mountainops.com today. A few of our favorite other things in the cooler months that we love from Mountain Ops are their down jackets, their merino wool collections, their hoodies, the Slumber cider and salted caramel drinks. I love sipping on a warm drink in the winter. And you know, we love our deep, restful, rejuvenating sleep. Hydration is also super important in the wintertime too. So be sure to check out their pineapple hydrate. It's the one back there. This is their new flavor and it seriously tastes like a Dole Whip. My kids love this hydrate. And because I just looked back there and I realized what else I have back there, Ignite. Need I say more? Energy and focus. To shop our favorites and help donate a meal to a child in need, go to mountainops.com and use our code BRIT, that's BRITT, for 20% off. Again, that's mountainops.com and use our code BRIT, BRITT, for 20% off. Lunch/dinner. This next recipe is a recipe that I saw from Kayla Powers on Instagram. She has the best high protein, macro friendly recipes, like chef's kiss. Her videos are amazing and she gives out free recipes. Like, Kayla's the bomb. This recipe is a Caesar salad chicken crust pizza. I'm going to give you a list of the ingredients that are included and a quick rundown of how you make this. I'm going to give you the chicken crust recipe, and then from there, I'll kind of just give you a brief outline of what Kayla did to then up it and make it into a chicken Caesar salad. I'll put that in the description so Kayla obviously gets full credit for that because this is her twist on it, but I have seen the chicken crust pizza going around everywhere, so I feel okay about giving you that recipe. For the chicken crust pizza dough, if you will, you're going to use 1 pound of ground chicken, which is equal to 16 ounces, or I say ounces because you can use the canned chicken as well. We've used it before. It worked great, just like the ones that you get from Costco. And then you'll use 1 to 2 eggs. I would start with 1, and then obviously after you mix in the other ingredients, see if you feel like your dough might need another egg. And then you'll add a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then the seasonings that just really help take this crust into, I think, like the pizza crust category is salt, garlic, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. You'll just sprinkle those in until you can kind of, if you're listening to this, that's me bringing my hands up to my nose and getting a whiff of the dough. Learn to use your senses and you'll mix that all together. Then from there, you will, as obviously you've made this, you're going to set your oven to 425 and you're going to line your baking sheet with Parmesan, or you're going to line your sheet with parchment paper. From here, you will then spread it out as flat as possible and as evenly as possible onto that sheet to make your pizza crust. And then you will bake for 25 to 35 minutes. At about the 20 to 25 minute mark, you'll want to start watching your pizza crust and you'll notice that the color is starting to change to like a golden brown, and you can kind of like play with it, see if you feel like your crust is pizza like and you feel like it's going to hold up when you take a slice of pizza and hold it with toppings. Again, that is just a fantastic base to have on hand for when you want to have pizza night. It's fun for the kids. How fun is it to have pizza night and let everyone build their own pizza and also know that everyone's getting in their protein intake? So it's a good way to like sneak that in, if you will. Cody approves of this recipe, and so do both my boys. Cooper was like, "What is this?" Again, I will link to Kayla's video, the how-to of how to make the full Caesar salad chicken crust pizza, to her Instagram, and you can follow the step-by-step, and she outlines the full recipe, measurements, and everything. But I'm telling you, this pizza crust is so filling and so delicious, and it's like the best of both worlds. You get a high protein meal and you also get to have that pizza, and there's a lot left over because that's something that's hard to do around at my house, is have leftovers. But because it is high in protein plus all your other toppings, you got some left. And then if you want to do the Caesar salad dressing, this is really fantastic because obviously you already have your chicken inside the crust. And so that's super easy. You use a blender and you add cottage cheese, milk, Worcestershire sauce, white vinegar, Dijon mustard, lemon or lemon juice. And then if it's thick, then obviously you can get the consistency to where you like it with your favorite milk. And you just blend all that up. And then when your pizza comes out, if you're going to be doing the chicken Caesar salad recipe, oh, I'm getting hungry just listening to this. If you're going to do the chicken Caesar salad pizza recipe, then from here you smear that dressing over the top of the chicken crust pizza, and you can then chop up your romaine lettuce and put that on top, and you can even top it with Parmesan cheese. You could do like some fresh cracked black pepper over the top, cut that up and eat it. And I was blown away by this recipe. I really like that because it does, again, Kayla does awesome with getting all your macros in and having a well-balanced meal. And that recipe does just that. Again, the chicken crust is awesome for doing just any of your pizzas. The next recipe is for a burger bowl. I just feel like it has to be put in there. You know that I am huge on simplicity around here and making sure that I can just grab and go, especially when it comes to lunches or those dinners, because as my kids get older, my evenings only get busier. And the best way for me to do this is to have ground meat on hand that's already browned and ready to go. I had to grab something. I knew I forgot something. Okay, so how I brown my meat, I personally like to get a good brown golden crust. Not like where it's hard, but like I don't like gray meat. I have a problem with people that do gray meat. Listen, you do you, boo, but I like to brown my meat and get just like a little to it. And when I season my meat, most of the time, if I'm just going to season it myself, I use garlic, salt, pepper, cumin, and chili powder. And I just make kind of like my own little taco seasoning. That's what I like. If I'm going to eat it plain, I can eat it plain like that. And I love it. If you are someone that needs exact measurements, or you don't want to come up, if you're not comfortable enough to like, am I going to like that, smell the aromas and go with it? I have these new seasonings that Cody ended up getting. They're low sodium, no MSG, and they're gluten free. Yay for me. I really enjoy these seasonings. Cody bought these probably over Black Friday, if I had to guess, and he bought us like a test pack, and I'm so glad he did. So this is the Hush best seasoning yet. And their taco, I've obviously used a lot. Cody was like, wow, this is really good. It has a little bit of kick to it. It has you brown your meat. It actually has instructions on the back, and you do add a little bit of water. This is really, really good. This has become obviously a staple because I've used it a lot. I do like too that the ingredients, they use beet sugar in the sugar. So it has less than 1 grams of carbs, it says. So I feel okay about this, especially if you're like watching your seasonings with Carnivore or whatnot. And it is low sodium, no MSG. And like I said, the ingredients list is bare minimum. They're using beet sugar, salt, onion, garlic, chili powder, jalapeno, chipotle, cumin, pepper, herbs. So you can see everything that's in there. We like a short ingredient list that we know. And then also, I really enjoy this if you like some heat, a little bit of kick. This is the Kickin' Texas Cajun. And this was really great, even just in a plain burger bowl. So smoky, sweet Cajun heat. And this one was delish. It has cayenne pepper and ghost pepper, or what is the seasonings, or like what makes it hot. And it is nice too, because they do give you a little picture of what it's suggested use for. So this one has deer, elk, and then it has like a hog. So pork. And that gives you a great idea whether you're using it for your wild game or just your day-to-day, what would you call that? Like your beef, your pork, your chicken. The Hush seasonings are a great way to season your meat quickly. And ways I like to enjoy my meat and like a burger bowl. There's 2 different options here. I know I said it was going to be 3, but like I feel like they're as the same, right? You can make it into a true burger bowl. This is one of my favorite ways because like if you had to choose between pizza and a cheeseburger, what route are you going? I'm genuinely curious. I ask people this all the time. Or a taco. Ooh, that's hard. I'll still go with cheeseburger. Wait, I don't know. But I feel like those are like the 2 American things to choose from, right? Like pizza. I understand pizza's not American. I understand that. But like pizza and a cheeseburger. I'm a cheeseburger gal. I will always choose a cheeseburger. So I like making a true burger bowl. When I do this, I have my brown meat ready to go, and then I will top it with things like diced pickles. If you haven't tried, oh snap, hot pickles, you're missing out. Diced pickles, and then you can make a homemade burger sauce, aka fry sauce if you're from Utah. And that is made by using mayo, whatever kind of mayo you like. There's like Primal Kitchens is a really great one. Mayo, ketchup with no added sugar, mayo, ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, and a splash of pickle juice, and mix that all together. You get like that quintessential pink sauce that like you would even get maybe like at In-N-Out is probably what people are most familiar with. So you get those diced pickles, that sauce, toss that all together. You can then add whatever toppings you would like. You could slice up some lettuce and put in there. You could top with tomato, onions, avocado, whatever your heart desires. Again, having a base recipe and adding to it to meet whatever your body is needing that day or your macros is great. So I like making a burger bowl. I would say my go-to is definitely adding the pickles, maybe adding the sauce. I really love just adding mustard too, and then adding something maybe like an avocado if I have it on hand. But I'm totally just content eating a bowl of meat. Another kind of burger bowl is obviously turning it into a taco. So if you couldn't decide between burgers and tacos, it's fine. Making it into a taco bowl, and you can just then obviously take your meat. Your protein is the main focus of all this. And then from here, add with your favorite taco toppings like cilantro, diced tomato, your pico de gallo, your what other would be good? You could even if you could turn it into a taco salad from there. So a burger bowl is a great way to go. And I think a lot of times people overcomplicate protein. And yes, there's really, really beautiful recipes like the chicken Caesar salad pizza, which is amazing, but sometimes just keeping it simple and making we're having burger bowls tonight, or we're doing taco bowls, or you can do like a Chipotle bowl. The list goes on and on. That is the beauty of high protein. Just focus on the protein itself and go from there. Just because the weather is getting colder doesn't mean you shouldn't be thinking about upgrading your cooler. We still have plenty of adventures to take, food to keep cold while you're going on them, and you want to keep them from getting soggy. There's nothing worse than reaching in for like your snack and the paper's wet and soggy or your cheese is soggy. Plus, you want to be able to keep those drinks cold, keep those mountains blue and the water refreshing after that hike. Not to mention, be able to keep your meat cold on the way to the butcher or taking it home. So, where are you going to put all that? In a cooler that's ultra lightweight? Are you going to be able to keep those drinks cold, those mountains blue, and your food organized? Are you going to be able to keep those snacks easily accessible? How about knowing that your cooler can float upright every time? No need to panic on the duck boat anymore. Rugged Road coolers offer all this. And they have new sizing. They have the smaller V25. This can hold up to 25 12-ounce cans. It's kind of like a cool, bigger version of a lunch pail, but it still has all of our favorite features of the Rugged Road, the flip top, and the snack rack. Plus, now they have the big daddy of them all, the 115. This sucker will hold some meat, and we're excited. Ours is currently on its way. Like I mentioned, the Rugged Road is ultra lightweight. As you can see, one hand, it has this flip top, which I think will be super nice come duck season to be able to, one, sit on an extra bench, and then two, be able to sit and make your food on something, some cup holders as well. And then, like I mentioned, inside it does have the snack rack. So you've got a place to put your things, a divider so you know whose drinks go where and what. And it has top of the line ice retention. To get your new cooler, go to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use our code LONG, that's LONG, for 10% off your next cooler. Tell them we sent you by going to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use our code LONG again for 10% off your next order. A dessert that Cody and I have been loving. This is a dessert recipe that oh my gosh, it's like kind of embarrassing, but if you've been here a while, I started on Instagram basically as get ready to cringe with me as like a beach body coach, but never did I get like the I just wanted to inspire people and I loved working out. I've always loved health and fitness, and this was a recipe that I came across on Pinterest like, oh my gosh, probably like when Cooper was really little. And so this is something that I've always kind of had in my toolbox of making desserts. And I honestly just kind of let it go for a while because if I'm being honest, there is one ingredient in here which equals a lot of ingredients, that every time I pull it out, I envision RFK giving me the side eye. And or just slapping it out of my hand. But listen, at the end of the day, it's balance. And this is a dessert, a treat for when we need it. And so I brought it back, especially when Cody was really starting to focus on his health and fitness. And it is the perfect way to get protein in, have that sweet treat fix, and just live life a little bit, if you will. You know, I think it's a great nightcap because you're ending your night with high protein. So here is the dessert recipe. It is Greek yogurt cheesecake. It takes 3 ingredients. It takes probably less than 5 minutes, and it's so easy. Ingredients you can have on hand. The nice thing with this is like you buy it and you're able to make probably 4 or 5 servings out of it. So this is what you hear Cody and I be like, "Can I have some cheesecake?" This is what we're making. You need Greek yogurt of choice. I like using a really thick, high quality one, and one like Fage is a great choice. I do notice that sometimes where it has a little more liquid, it doesn't give you like that thick cheesecake kind of consistency. So I do think that's important, but using a Greek yogurt of your choice. Fage also makes a lactose-free one. And then you will need, this is where RFK is going to come smack me, but you will need Jello, what is this called? Jello cheesecake for making like an instant pudding. This is a sugar-free one. You could use a regular one if you wanted. And we did sugar-free just because of the lifestyle that we're doing right now, just trying to keep our carbs down. So sugar-free Jello. And then you need this, I think this is where I changed the recipe this last year for Cody. I always did the Greek yogurt and this and called it a day and was like, ooh, that's delicious. This is a cheesecake. This took it over the fucking top. Because what's the best part of a cheesecake? The crust, obviously. This was something that I added to it, and Cody tried it and he's like, wait a second, what? I'm like, I know, I'm a fucking genius. So this is the Justin's maple almond butter, and I'm telling you, this tastes like the graham cracker crust of a cheesecake, and you add it in. So how do you make it? Super easy. Obviously, you can, like all these recipes, do it adjusted to your macros, but here is the base. You will take, I believe 170 grams is a serving of Greek yogurt, which is, I think, 3/4 a cup. This is equal to, I think, like 17 to 19 grams of protein. So your Greek yogurt, you'll add that in there. Like I said, 3/4 a cup of Greek yogurt or 170 grams. And then you will add in a tablespoon of your cheesecake pudding mix. Then combine that together. I will say this is like kind of an eyeball recipe where I shake it in most days and I get it to the consistency I like. I give a little taste test. If it's tasting like cheesecake, money, right? So you can play around with how much of this you want to add. A tablespoon, I think, is the equivalent of less than a serving, which this is 5 grams for a serving. And I don't think the tablespoon even equals that. So again, you can shimmy this in and figure it out. But I was looking last night, 3/4 a cup to 1 tablespoon did get it thick enough and flavorful enough to cheesecake. Then you will add in 1 to 2 tablespoons of the Justin's maple almond butter. Again, I'll leave that up to you wherever you are in your carbs, how you feel about fat. This is obviously a lot higher in fat than carbs. And Cody likes this mixed in so that with every bite he gets like it's consistently like you kind of have to push it in and mix it. He likes it mixed in so that he's always getting chunks of this in it. And I usually, for the most part, just put it on the side and I'll like get a little dab of my crust in quotations and then a scoop of my cheesecake. It varies night to night. So you can either combine it and mix it in or treat it kind of like as a crust and grab some of this on the side and that. And I'm telling you, it tastes like a cheesecake. It truly doesn't feel like you're missing out on anything. And it is high in protein and it really does kind of hit all those macros on the board for you. And it is lower in sugar compared to most desserts that you would be having. Those are my 5 high protein meal ideas with some recipes included to help maybe just keep going or kickstart, maybe give you a base to get started. I really, again, love having like a foundation to build upon. I think these are just that, they're foundations to know that you're getting your high protein in and build up, and then know that you're hitting that. And I think, like I've said before, if you can focus on your protein, you will notice major changes in, truly, I believe, I'm not a health professional, but I believe your mood, your brain fog, your fatigue, and also your body composition, I think will definitely start to showcase and pop that hard work that you have been doing. If you guys love this episode, it would mean so much if you shared it, or if you make any of these recipes, please be sure to tag me at Brittany.long or at the Reckoning Podcast. It would be so fun to see what it is you made and how maybe you elevated it. I always love seeing, what someone takes and then how you elevated it and inspired the rest of us to maybe be like, oh, I should add that, or that's a fantastic idea. Like I said, adding this almond butter to a recipe that I think has been around for so long really took it to the next level. And it makes me happy that Cody has found him a sweet treat to help with any cravings and know that I'm fueling him properly. Recipes will be listed below, or if you want them sent directly to you, please DM me or comment on our latest post, 5 high protein meals, and I will send you the list in your DMs.